and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus, IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, drug dealers beware. Federal and local authorities issue a stern warning as they investigate the surge of cocaine going around. Plus, how did a man accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a local shelter get there in the first place? The shelter's organization chimes in. And government finances question. DOA employee listings show millions of dollars spent during the financial crisis. Hafaday and good evening. Local police and federal drug enforcement authorities are releasing limited details about a recent record drug bust. 6 people were arrested this past week in what's being called the largest ever cocaine seizure here. Nestor Lecanto reports from today's joint news conference by GPD and the DEA.
Nearly 40 kilos of cocaine has been taken off the streets this past week, and Police Chief J.I. Cruz says while that particular drug has been in and out of circulation here, they are noticing a comeback.
We see a resurfacing of the drug cocaine as it is tied to, as you call it, the drug of choice, crystal methamphetamine. We are still trying to figure out how that is taking an active play in what's happening in our community.
What is common to the recent cocaine seizures is that the drugs were discovered in barrels that apparently washed up on shore. Authorities would not comment on where they believe the drugs are coming from, but they did say they are working with Customs, the Port Police, and the U.S. Coast Guard on interdiction. DEA agent Ed Talbot.
The maritime component is crucial to any geographical location that is against water. I've worked maritime enforcement. We have agents and task force officers that work maritime enforcement, and the focus is there. But the focus is everywhere. The DEA, wherever there are drugs, the DEA will be there.
In just the past week, they've seized 35 kilos of cocaine, 39 kilos in total, with an estimated street value of $55,000 per kilo. Authorities would not comment on any international connection, but there are signs of a highly organized operation.
That is a significant amount. We've never seen this single seizure before. This would leave any prudent person to believe that this is somewhat of an organized operation. And that's something, again, without divulging any specific information, this is something we're taking a look at.
I would say any organization that is pushing that type of weight is significant.
The Chief of Police and the Drug Enforcement Administration would not comment specifically on the 6 arrests that were made earlier this week. What they will say is that they have confiscated nearly $1 million worth of cocaine. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
With the recent spike in the cocaine trade on Guam, will the number of drug addicts increase as well? Experts are noticing a trend. While the problem is fresh for many in the territory, Keani Mendiola has more on help available for those that need assistance kicking their drug habit.
They say it's never too late to seek help, and neither is it too early. Guam has had a long, ongoing battle with methamphetamine and marijuana addictions, and now a new danger has recently surfaced on our shores: cocaine. A new threat that has Dededo residents like Joseph Vitali and Paul Camacho concerned.
It's not good for Guam. Of course, they're going to be worse. Once you get in the beach, this is open the beach. Anybody can go in and out anytime you want. So they have to control. They have to be search around by the island and what are these people bringing in.
For the people of Guam, yeah, I'm concerned.
But in order to eliminate this problem, ultimately it needs to be prevented.
They should go seek treatment if the people of Guam want to ensure that they can get off those stuff.
Tracy Kittigwa is the acting supervisor and a counselor at New Beginnings Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center under the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
New Beginnings is an outpatient treatment program. We provide services such as education, a referral to our non-government organizations such as Sanctuary, Lighthouse Recovery Center, and Oasis.
The treatment center handles addictions of alcohol, methamphetamine, and marijuana on a daily basis. But with the recent reintroduction of cocaine,
we don't have the stats yet on cocaine addiction, but it is similar to meth addiction, since they're both stimulants.
Although information is still being gathered, Sanctuary's Lighthouse Recovery Center director, Valerie Regis, has noticed an increase in individuals with cocaine addiction. In just the last 2 months, Lighthouse has serviced 6 individuals for cocaine withdrawal, a big difference from 0 clients seeking treatment for cocaine addiction at the beginning of the year. And if the trend continues to increase, they could be looking at more.
It will probably increase the amount of clients coming in, as well as people getting arrested. So, or sometimes they'll even switch their addiction from meth to cocaine. So it can work both ways like that.
The best way to fix the issue is to catch it early on.
If we can catch them early and they realize that it's a problem, then it probably would help. But once they're full into their addiction, they probably won't get the help until they get caught.
If you or someone you know is suffering from cocaine or any drug addiction, you can contact New Beginnings at 475-5540. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mediola.
Police spotted her stopped at a Mangilao intersection when the light was green before the officer found drugs, including cocaine. Tina Atogwe Salonga is charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, operating a vehicle without a valid driver's license, and using a mobile phone while driving. Police say the suspect was on her phone, sweating, and appeared to be nervous. The suspect admitted she had meth inside the car. Authorities found 2 glass pipes, meth, and cocaine. A man wanted by police for multiple robberies is captured. 27-year-old Jeremy Allen Evaristo is charged with attempted murder, 4 counts of robbery, possession of a firearm without a valid ID, possession of an unregistered firearm, aggravated assault, terrorizing, use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, and crimes against the community. Investigators say the robberies happened in the past week at the Lucky Land Game Room in Dedito, Palms Market in Chigo, the roadway heading towards Retidian Point, and a couple of others at the Retidian Beach. Police say each time the suspect was armed with a handgun. He even fired the weapon during the alleged robberies. Authorities were able to identify the suspect and raided his Estumbo home. That's where they found a cell phone reported stolen from one of the victims at the beach. Police later caught him making the arrest. They also found the handgun believed to have been used during the alleged incidents. Police need your help looking for a 24-year-old man wanted for questioning. Authorities say Jesse Jose Nicholas Delgado is wanted in connection to an ongoing criminal investigation. Details of the investigation have not yet been released. Police say it is not known if Delgado is armed. They advise the community that if you see him, do not approach him and call police immediately. Delgado was last seen on the Chalan Subicao in Estumbo. He is known to be driving a black Toyota Hilux pickup truck, Hilux may be also driving a gray Nissan Rogue and Guam license plate CHP 6236. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-4357. Following the arrest of Jay Nedadog, a former in-house resident of Sanctuary Incorporated's young adult transition home, Sanctuary responds to questions of his acceptance into the program. Executive Director Teresa Ariola says this was an isolated incident. Though they were aware of his prior arrest, he met all the criteria. It's just unfortunate Nedadog slipped through the cracks.
The only requirement is that he was homeless, and he was homeless. And Sanctuary is here to help those who are homeless. And the other criteria was a massive check on background check. He was not, he cleared all the checks with regards to sexual assault, and he cleared all the checks, police check clearances for child abuse or child assault.
Nedadog is charged with 3rd and 4th degree criminal sexual conduct. Ariola reiterating that the organization known to protect youth is tightening safeguards to prevent future violence. The man charged in a rape and robbery in Talafofo earlier this month pleads not guilty to the charges. 30-year-old Benjamin Jesse Pablo appeared in court on Wednesday, where he asserted his right to speedy trial. According to court documents, Pablo was in the area where 2 women reported being approached by a man wielding a knife. Pablo allegedly raped one of the females and robbed them of their car keys. The stolen car was later seen in the village with fake plates, and Pablo led police on a short chase through the village before he was apprehended. A return hearing is set for June 13. Who to believe? 2 more GPD officers testify in the trial against Jeremiah Shizaki, the man charged with plotting to kill a cop. The plan was reported to police by Janessa Corpus, who stated Shizaki and others wanted her help with Officer Benny Babauta. Specifically, she reported Ishizaki wanted to, quote, take him off the streets, end quote. What did he mean by that statement? Corpus on the stand earlier this month repeatedly told jurors Ishizaki never explicitly stated he wanted to kill Babauta. On the stand on Wednesday, however, Sergeant Elizabeth Flickinger and Officer Mary Raval testified otherwise. The alleged incident occurred 6 years ago. Sergeant Flickinger stating she did not take any notes or voice or audio recordings of Corpus's statements. Officer Raval testified that she did take notes of Corpus's statements and referred to them on the stand today. Trial will resume tomorrow. A mother accused of nearly killing her 1-year-old baby enters a plea deal with the government. Chrissy Jean Manley pleaded guilty to child abuse as a third-degree felony, a charge that carries maximum 5 years in jail. Manley is currently in full-time residential treatment at Oasis Empowerment Center. This treatment will be credited toward her time served. Her deal requires she testify against her co-defendant, Joe Duenas Jr., who in defense noted is not the child's biological father. In court on Wednesday, Manley admitted that in 2016, she slapped her baby boy with an open palm because he wouldn't stop crying or take his bottle. Duenas, who was also nearby, further aggravated the child. Defense advised the court that there is an explanation for the child's extreme discomfort, which will likely be revealed when Duenas faces a jury. The child is currently in foster care. Manley's sentencing will be scheduled at a later date. 3 separate trials will be held for the former Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority board members charged with violating the open government law. First to face a jury of 6 are Cecile Suda, David Sablan, Michael Rollin Salvage, and Rosie Ann Bloss. Their trial is set for October 29th. Defendants John Elau and Deanne Torrey, meanwhile, both had their cases severed. Elau will face a jury on November 7 and Torrey on November 14. GOR Executive Director Michael Duenas previously entered a plea deal with the government and is required to testify against his co-defendants. The group is accused of holding secret board meetings to discuss how they'd vote on awards for millions of dollars worth of low-income housing tax credits. The Guam Supreme Court says the governor's petition to declare the so-called Tran Bill duly passed is a political question that the justices can't answer. Calvo argued that the measure that authorizes short-term borrowing to pay for tax refunds was duly passed by the legislature early this year in a 7-6 vote. But the Democratic majority refused to transmit the bill for signature, arguing that it requires a legislative majority of 8 votes to pass. While the High Court rules it does take just a simple majority to pass a bill, they did not and now will not rule on whether that specific bill was duly passed. The court dismissed the governor's motion with prejudice. Speaker B.J. Cruz welcomed the decision as a victory for the separation of powers. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Manokai Athletic Club and Manhoban Swim Club present Guam Cocos Crossing 2018 on Sunday, May 27th. Experience the excitement of an ocean swim in the beautiful waters of Cocos Lagoon. Open to swimmers age 9 and up. Choose from 3 options: a 3K race, 5K race, and 10K race. Register online at guamcocoscrossing.com by Wednesday, May 23rd. Supported by these fine sponsors. There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Millions spent to bring in new GovGuam personnel. KUAM obtained documents that detail new hires for the current fiscal year, including staff brought on board as the government was faced making drastic cuts. Chris Barnett reports.
The executive branch has spent $6.4 million on hiring so far in fiscal year 2018, an average of a whopping $1 million a month. According to documents obtained by way of Freedom of Information Act requests from the Department of Administration, the executive branch hired 223 people so far in FY 2018. From February to April of this year, the executive branch hired 123 people for $3.6 million during the so-called budget crisis, while the administration pushed for and the legislature voted to approve tax hikes.
I'm going to continue on the tough decisions that need to be made on cost cutting.
The executive branch spent $1.1 million hiring 43 people in February, while the governor's office pushed senators for a solution to the $67 million shortfall. Positions hired in February include Director of DOA Edward Byrne for $102,000 a year in salary, a private secretary, administrative aides, office aides, project officers, and staff assistant to the governor. The administration closing fire and police stations in the beginning of March, citing a need to cut government expenses, even though they had spent more than $1 million hiring people in the previous month. An email from the administration dated March 7th said all agencies, quote, are making deep cuts. KUAM News requesting all documents pertaining to the non-renewal of LTAs or limited term appointments in fiscal year 2018. Those documents show only one LTA for the Department of Agriculture was not renewed. The administration had said that the non-renewal of LTAs was one of the first cuts made in the budget crisis. The Mayor's Council of Guam spending $2 million on 80 hires in FY 2018. Most of the hires come from absorbing employees of Catholic Social Services to work for Village Manumku programs. In FY 2018, the governor's office has hired 6 staff assistants for a total cost of $241,000, not including benefits. As far as critical positions go, the executive branch has hired only 3 corrections officers, 3 police officer trainees, and 1 customs and quarantine officer in this fiscal year. Although the administration said it was implementing a hiring freeze in March, according to KUAM News files, DOA documents show 80 people were hired for $2.4 million after the administration said it was implementing that hiring freeze. The executive branch kicking off the new fiscal year in October, hiring 34 people for $916,000. In January, 37 people were hired for $1 million. To contrast, the number of employees in the legislature decreased from 155 to 149, according to legislative staffing patterns from fiscal year 2017 and 2018. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The administration responded to our story saying they did not spend $6 million on new hires. A governor's spokesperson says personnel costs for the executive branch for all line agencies went from $4.2 million in a pay period to $3.9 million, adding the new hires that were made were to address attrition and that most of the positions noted are federally funded.
Those that were locally funded were very specific for a reason. Department of Revenue and Taxation, for example, they were just beat up on by the legislature because they weren't hiring fast enough. The same thing with police department. They needed to hire people to fill those positions that were necessary to the safety of our community. And then we go to, I wanted to touch on the Mayor's Council of Guam because they had a whole bunch of hires as well, but that was because they needed to ensure that the services to our Manumku continued. The whole idea behind addressing the fiscal crisis was ensuring that we lived within a budget. And gatekeepers, BBMR, they've been really good about that. But we've also had to ensure that our services to our community continues.
Meantime, you can view the DOA documents for yourself on KUAM.com. Emotional testimony during the first oversight hearing with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission Tuesday night. Many land applicants taking the time to express frustration over news of people jumping the line to get CLTC property.
I'm really hurt. I am not going to point fingers or blame anybody. This, I believe, was an administrative error.
My thing is, I want them to tell me what I want to hear. Do I have a piece of property, or do I wait another 10 more years for them to show me this land?
It's really heartbreaking that people that we trusted will do this to us. I can't believe that they are in there working for the government, and they cannot even protect the people of Guam.
The CLTC is reassuring all current lessees that while it has suspended the issuing of new leases for now, no changes have been made to existing leases. A second hearing is set for tomorrow at 5 p.m. at the Guam Congress Building. Now to the controversy surrounding the finalists for the new UOG president. Multiple reports showing a troubled past for one of the final few. Carmen Terlahi files this report.
The University of Guam narrows down the search to the top 3 finalists for president. One of the 3 comes with a controversial past in his previous jobs. Dr. Hamid Shervani holds a PhD and MA from Princeton and graduated from Harvard University. A closer look into Dr. Shervani's past reveals multiple reports that call him, quote, a controversial figure who has drawn both praise and criticism for his management style, end quote. With 39 years of experience in the fields of education, he served most recently as president of Briar Cliff University before resigning in July 2017. During his time there, a female employee accused him of sexual harassment. Those complaints, according to media, include accusations Shervani singled out a small group of women for raises, secret dinners off campus with these women, and inappropriate conversations. An internal investigation done by the university found there wasn't enough evidence Title IX policies were violated. He also served as chancellor of the North Dakota University System, where the local Board of Education unanimously approved a $900,000 buyout of his contract after months of concern from students and state lawmakers for his management style and treatment of staff. The other candidates include Dr. Crize and Dr. Murphy, all 3 non-local. According to the University of Guam's charter, requirement for UOG's president include, quote, knowledge and understanding of the people of Guam and Micronesia, though no mention of this knowledge was made in their bios. Chairman Leon Guerrero admits there were locals that applied, but he says the PSC cannot release the confidential list of semifinalists, nor confirm how many were local. The 3 candidates will be meeting with students, faculty, and interim President Underwood in the next month before the board makes a final decision. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
The Guam Education Board voted to approve a uniform bag policy and a new district reassignment plan. The bag policy allows secondary students to bring a bag of their choice to school as long as there is no vulgar language, no secret pockets, and no violent expressions. The redistricting plan would implement changes for elementary next school year and in school year 2020 to 2021 transition high school students, even including a possibility of a new middle school for school year 2019 to 2020. The goal is to ensure students are going to schools closer to home. You can view the full list of district changes at KUAM.com. Lawmakers have wrapped up this month's session and passed a series of bills that include a measure to ban the use of plastic carry-out bags here. Sponsored by Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, the ban would go into effect by January 1st, 2021. Similar bans have already been passed in other territories. Senator Lee calls it a big step in reversing the island's problem with non-biodegradable litter. Also getting the approval of lawmakers was Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi's bill called the Safe Streets Act of 2018. It would establish a driving while impaired treatment court program to help medium and high-risk offenders. The bill would still make it unlawful to drive under the influence of alcohol, a controlled substance, but it provides the court with options to use tools like the breath alcohol ignition interlock device. In Decision 2018 news, local attorney Levin Camacho has announced his run for Attorney General of Guam. The 40-year-old lawyer has been practicing in the territory for the past 12 years with a private practice for the last 7. Camacho has been leading several controversial lawsuits, including challenging the federal government over the construction of a massive firing range complex in Paget. Camacho says he plans to build on the work undertaken by the current AG Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, who is reportedly not seeking re-election. He states, quote, "Our island needs confidence that our government agencies are following the rules and that the criminal justice system is working. This is important because we need a balanced government that works toward providing for our well-being and safety," end quote. So far, no potential candidates have filed with the GEC. 4 people, including Camacho, picked up packets for the Office of Attorney General. They are Jessica Barrett, Alberto Tolentino, and Frank Gumatautau. Nearly $900,000 in federal funding is awarded by the Department of Interior's Office of Insular Affairs. Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo says technical assistance grants will fund programs in Guam, the Sinamay, American Samoa, and the freely associated states. About half of the money will support students participating in the Junior State of America program, while the other half would support the Pacific Island Ocean Observing System. Sports is next, but first, here's your island weather.
Smartphone Super Sale event. Enjoy huge savings on our most popular Samsung Galaxy smartphones. But this offer won't last long. So drop into a GTA store today.
Our mighty SUV mega sale is going on now at Cars Plus, and you're going to save big with cash back on every purchase. Get to Cars Plus and shop our great selection of Hyundai Santa Fe's, Tucsons, and the all-new Kona, Guam's most affordable SUV. Or our full line of Jeeps, like a new Jeep Renegade, save $6,000, or a new Jeep Cherokee, save $4,500 with rates as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Cars Plus, mighty SUV mega sale. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Half a day. G-U-A-M. G-U-A-M. Half a day. G-U-A-M. G-U-A-M. Half a day. G-U-A-M. G-U-A-M. Half a day. G-U-A-M. G-U-A-M.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. I have some running news with our intern, Pedro John, to get to in just a bit. But first off, some CrossFit news from Custom Fitness. Check it out. Props to the 6 teams who competed in the 3rd annual Hagen Games held at Custom Fitness in Antigua. The competition was held in celebration of Law Week. Gulf Metga, Laddystone, Gaines Nation, Justicia, Unified, and Northside blew through the workouts. Paul Claro says the annual games are used to help spread the word of fitness at all levels.
With everything being a team, we're going to have some synchronized burpees, some synchronized deadlifts at 125 kgs, so loading the bar anyway, doing it as a team. Next event's going to have some rowing, some box step-ups, and some more hand release push-ups. Third event is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a sled push and pull. We're basically going to max load the sled, and a team of 2 will be able to push and or pull the sled from one side to another, about 100 meters. And the last event, it's a sprint event. 5 people working as a team, running with a med ball, and then they have a max wall ball after that, and of course rope climbs to finish.
Finishing first overall was Northside, with members from CrossFit Laddystone and CrossFit Hita. Second place went to Unified. Third place went to Team Justicia.
Well, the biggest thing with CrossFit, and it draws everyone, is the community aspect. And regardless of what skill set you are, how fit you are, how strong you are, everyone's going to cheer that last person or the first person. We just want to see everyone improve every single day.
64 swimmers in various age groups competed in the annual Guam Swim Federation A Championships held at the Agana Pool. The Tsunami Swim Club, Tsunami Saipan, Manhoban Swim Club, Anderson Marlins, Manukai Athletic Club, and Guam Typhoon Swim Club all participated. Some of the events that took place included the 800 free, 50 fly, 100-meter backstroke, 200 breaststroke, and 200 freestyle. Next in line for the swimmers are the short course events set to begin in September.
Competitions like this allow the swimmers to work and culminate all that work in a competition that brings them all together and allows them to swim with swimmers that they sometimes don't get to swim with and compete against every day, and allows them to really see where they stand on the island.
Honda and Acura enthusiasts made their way to the Guam International Raceway Park in Jigo for the 11th annual Honda Tech Meet. The event was free and open to the public. Dubbed as the biggest car brand show on island, Honda owners broke out the chamois and armor all to get their rides so fresh and so clean. Some had their hoods popped open to show off their engines, while others had their doors open to show their interior. There were food trucks to take care of anybody hungry or thirsty. Pop Rocks and Soda provided the entertainment, with my boy Andy Wheeler on the mic as the MC. Honda pros were on site doing free multi-point vehicle inspections. The Test and Tune Grudge Racing was a friendly battle down the quarter mile. Trophies were given out for show categories. Limited edition t-shirts were given out with free raffles, free airbag inflator repairs for Honda and Acura owners. They also had a chance to win free prizes by running their VIN number to see if their vehicles were affected. Let's turn over to some running news now with our intern, Pedro John.
In running news, the Learn Chamorro Project presents the first ever Famotkat Falagu Chamorro 2K and 5K Sunset Walk Run, Sunday, May 27th at the Chamorro Village. Show times at 4 p.m., go time scheduled for 5 p.m. Pre-register online at www.guamgear.com or at any Port of Mocha location. Proceeds raised from the event will benefit the GDOE Chamorro Studies Department and Special Projects Division and the Learn Chamorro Project. From KUAM Sports, I'm Pedro John.
All right, thanks, Pedro. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Beat the increase at Triple J. Buy now before the sales tax starts. 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in. Now is the time to buy. Get into a 2018 Mazda CX-5 at our lowest price yet, only $19,995. Or our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $298 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord, at only $206 per paycheck. Beat the increase and buy now at Triple J. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Trade-ins welcome. Some conditions apply. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
And before we close out the news tonight, here's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Hafa and happy birthday to the following people who have a birthday on May 23rd. Tiana Villagomez, happy birthday to you from KUAM and the Cold Stone Creamery. Also, Yoshiko Ann Guerrero blew out the candles today, so we hope you had a fantastic day. Also, happy birthday wishes going out to Ryan Francisco today. Also, happy birthday number 8 to little Audrina Mateo. Hope you had a fantastic birthday with your family. And last but certainly not least, happy birthday wishes today to Chloe Didesco.
You can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by logging on to KUAM.com. That's going to do it for us here on the news desk. Good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.
All right, everybody, you know what show this is. This is KUAM News Extra. I'm Jason Salas. In tonight's lineup, we're talking about a very special